everyone.
Hi, I'm Danielle Martins, and we are doing our project for the contrastive analysis, and our selected language is Arabic, with focuses on Morocco. So going right in, Arabic is an official language in 25 countries. Modern Standard Arabic, or MSA, is the largest member of the Semitic language family. This language is thousands of years old. It is also an ancient language with no written record. Arabic is part of the Semitic subgroup of Afro-Asiatic languages and is closely related to the languages of Hebrew and Aramaic. There are three distinct forms of Arabic. There's classical, which is a form found in the Quran. The Quran is a religious text used by Arabic speakers when reading and reciting Islamic religious texts. Other forms of Arabic are Modern Standard Arabic and colloquial. Colloquial is spoken Arabic that many use in conversations, and Modern Standard Arabic is used formally, such as for speaking and for writing. Classical Arabic and Modern Standard Arabic are used for writing in Arabic. Classical is used for the language in the Quran and in literature. Modern Standard Arabic is used majority for speaking and writing. The script is different in ways of style and its vocabulary. The consonant alphabet has 28 letters and 3 vowels, including long and short vowels. Some additional letters are used when writing place names or foreign words, which contain sounds that do not occur in Standard Arabic. Words are written from right to left, while numerals are written from left to right. Most letters can change form depending if they appear at the beginning, middle, or end of a word, or on their own. There are also joined letters used in handwritten and printed Arabic. The writing system... the next slide. The writing system for Morocco is slightly similar to Modern Standard Arabic, but it differs vastly. Moroccan Arabic uses a variety of Maghrebi Arabic for everyday conversations. Most words are borrowed from Berber, French, and Spanish. Moroccan Arabic is used rarely in writing, but is used more for poetry, newspapers, magazines, and for everyday conversations. This slide just shows an overview of what the Moroccan alphabet looks like. This includes all the consonants, the vowels, and its numbers. There are several regions around the world who speak Arabic, but they all differ in dialects. This depends on the geographical location and their influences from other countries and languages. These are similar in grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, and they all stem from Modern Standard Arabic. For example, Morocco is heavily influenced by other languages of Spanish, French, and Berber. However, when looking at other regions, such as the Gulf region, their influences are English, Indian, Urdu, and Farsi, and Persian. This slide just shows a list of several countries and their regional dialects. Most countries have similar Arabic dialects, such as Syria and Lebanon, but a majority of them have a different regional dialect that they speak. Some other facts about the Arabic language include high prestige and low prestige. Modern Standard Arabic is considered high prestige, while the local colloquial dialects are considered low prestige. These varieties depend on the social context when speaking. This also results in code switching within the conversation to better suit the topic or the meaning. So moving on to the linguistics portion, phonology in Arabic includes 3 long and short vowels, 28 consonants, 2 diphthongs, and 2 types of syllables. The short vowels are not typically used in written form, but are used in the Quran. The consonants depend on the dialect, which they can also vary in duration. Most consonants are uvular, pharyngeal, or pharyngealized. Morphology in Arabic includes nouns and verbs containing certain base letters or roots. Extra letters can be added, dropped, or changed from the base letters due to morphophonemic rules. When letters are added, this can add more meaning or more insight or the significance to the basic meaning of root letters. There are also fewer than 100 grammatical particles or function words to be memorized. These have no patterns or go through any morphophonemic changes. Syntax in Arabic includes different order for verbs and its subjects. The order of written Arabic is verb, subject, object, and spoken Arabic is subject, verb, object. The sentence subjects determine the verb conjugation. Also, the inflection of nouns can express gender, number, case, and state. Gender includes masculine and feminine forms with no markers for masculinity. Number markers can indicate the singular, dual, or plural forms. Verbs are conjugated differently when addressing male and males and females. Object and possessive pronouns can be similar but not independent of each other. Pronouns are also attached to verbs and objects when necessary. Subject pronouns have a second person, first person plural, and third person. Also, words that are preceded by a direct article would repeat that article in the following adjectives in order to make the direct case. As mentioned in previous slides, there are 28 letters in Arabic written in written form from right to left. Letters are written in a cursive style and are from the Aramaic script. Ruqa is the most common script for handwriting. Speakers of the colloquial dialects use the language for daily interactions and use the modern standard Arabic for formal situations. This is learned for the L1 and learn modern standard Arabic based on the classical Arabic. Semantics in Arabic is used to serve meaning and to study the changes in the meaning of words through the linguistic structure. The meaning of words changes according to the word position in a sentence. This is developed to mirror the social and intellectual life of speakers. Semantics also involves the generalization of specific references, such as the gender specifying general references and semantic transitions. Since the evolution of social and cultural life, there have been influences of changes in the meaning of semantic elements. Pragmatics in Arabic is used for its intentions, purposes, and diverse situations. In order to meet the needs of the speaker, the listener must be eager to understand what the speaker is saying. Speakers can express the language influentially by using a variety of language forms and words. The meaning of words involves the context in which they come with and how it is structured and organized. Also, in order to understand linguistic expression, the context must be expressed for words that come before or after the word, phrase, or sentence, and how the context can support the listener to understand the intended meaning.
When we are comparing the components of Arabic to English, when it comes to comparing these two, they're vastly different in their forms, phonetics, and orthography. Firstly, as Danielle mentioned, Arabic has 28 letters compared to the English of 26. English has 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, which can be either short or long depending on the word. These vowels can also be put together to make vowel teams and also make those different sounds. However, in Arabic, they have 3 long vowels that can extend a word and 3 what we would call short vowels, but they may not always be written and are more assumed in conversation. These long vowels are characters that are attached to words that do not take the place of a short vowel, while if the short vowels are written, they are small marks above the vowel. For example, fatah, which is the equivalent of a short A in English, is a diagonal stroke above the letter, and it precedes it in pronunciation. So many of the letters that have that short vowel attached would end in the short A sound. In English, spelling is more consistent, and so can be pronunciation. So some rules are followed while other rules are not, and words become irregular depending on what they are. If we take the words comb, as in C-O-M-B, comb your hair, tomb, T-O-M-B, as in a graveyard, or bomb, B-O-M-B, all 3 words are spelled with the same ending, O-M-B, but have different pronunciations and beginning sounds. This is common practice in English, and while early learners struggle with spelling, however, in Arabic, spelling is more phonetic and therefore easier to read and write for people who understand the rules of the language. There are also more emphatic sounds, which are a more deep or powerful sound, such as the d in Arabic, which would sound like a duh emphatically. There's a guttural sound, which is an S sound in Arabic, but it's pronounced s-I, but gutturally it's pronounced sa. And a glottal stop, which is similar to an o in English. There's a pause in the middle of the word by briefly closing the vocal cords. This is called a hamza in Arabic. An example of this would be saying city, which is pronounced with the T in English, but it would be a city, almost like a Cockney English, and that would be a glottal stop. Additionally, when comparing Arabic to English, orthography plays a large role in comparison. Again, as Danielle mentioned, in English, we read from right to left, from left to right, but in Arabic, they read the opposite. They read right to left. Our letters do not change shape and where they are in a word, and we also have uppercase and lowercase for each of our 26 letters. However, in Arabic, that's the opposite. They read and write, and then their letters also have 4 different shapes depending on the position of the word. The word can change shape. The word can change shape based on its initial position, medial, final, or isolated position. Also, all letters are formed at the same height because most of the script is in cursive, and their letters and words are all connected. So there's no upper or lowercase words as opposed to English. There are also no spaces usually in Arabic as opposed to English as well. Finally, some letters do not exist or they are pronounced differently in Arabic, which is covered in the next few slides. On our next slide, we discuss why Arabic speakers may have trouble learning English and how understanding communication styles and cultural norms can make a difference with Arabic learners in the classroom. As you can see, there are numerous differences between English and Arabic. As mentioned earlier, there are letters that do not exist or are pronounced differently between Arabic and English. The P sound is replaced with a B, so pig would be pronounced big. The V is replaced with an F, so very would be pronounced fairy. The CH is replaced with an SH, so chip is pronounced as ship. And the TH can be replaced with numerous sounds, a t, s, d, or a z, depending on whether it's voiceless or voiced. So for example, 3 can be pronounced sri as voiceless, and thanks can be pronounced as tanks. So that naughty digraph TH is very difficult for Arabic speakers. Additionally, the voiced this versus this in Arabic and that versus dat in Arabic. Additionally, in words, the T when writing can be replaced for an S, so conclusion would be the way it's pronounced and written. The S can be replaced for a C, and it takes the place of an S sound. So in sentence, instead of a C, it's an S. And then the T can be pronounced as an S and replaced and changed. So in controversial, we'd pronounce it with that S sound. On our next slide are continued difficulties that English speakers may have. Arabic speakers tend to add vowel sounds before or in between their consonant sounds by creating those glottal stops that were mentioned. Also, consonant clusters do not exist in Arabic, so a word like spring that has that tri-blend of SPR is not something found in Arabic, so students may add a vowel in front of it and pronounce it as ispring. Additionally, silent letters are also not found in Arabic. So take the word design, that when spelled out in English has a silent G. An Arabic speaker may have trouble pronouncing this word as they do not understand the concept of silent letters and may pronounce the G. When it comes to syntax of Arabic compared to English, Arabic tends to omit articles such as an, the, and to be. So instead of saying I am going home, they may say I going home. Word order may change as well. Arabic speakers tend to put the adjective after the noun in a sentence, such as saying the pen read instead of saying the red pen. On our next slide slide are continued difficulties that English speakers may have. Arabic speakers tend to add vowel sounds before or in between their consonant sounds by creating those glottal stops that were mentioned. Also, consonant clusters do not exist in Arabic, so a word like spring that has that tri-blend of SPR is not something found in Arabic, so students may add a vowel in front of it and pronounce it as ispring. Additionally, silent letters are also not found in Arabic. So take the word design, that when spelled out in English has a silent G. An Arabic speaker may have trouble pronouncing this word as they do not understand the concept of silent letters and may pronounce the G. When it comes to syntax of Arabic compared to English, Arabic tends to omit articles such as an, the, and to be. So instead of saying I am going home, they may say I going home. Word order may change as well. Arabic speakers tend to put the adjective after the noun in a sentence, such as saying the pen read instead of saying the red pen. On our next slide, we start to focus on communication styles and major cultural differences between Arabic and English linguistically. It is also important to understand that these differences can impact your students both inside and outside of the classroom. This can be just as important as the linguistic differences and may play a role in the way you use gestures and nonverbal communication. The communication style of Arabic students is high context, meaning messages are generally conveyed indirectly, and there's a large emphasis on nonverbal communication, shared cultural knowledge, and social context rather than explicit verbal language. There are also more formal tones used with elders and authority, like in the various use of language that Danielle mentioned above in our earlier presentation. Communication is indirect, and there are many gestures and nonverbal cues that are used. The next few slides share a poster from the Qatar International Foundation explaining some common nonverbal cues you may see in Arabic culture. Our slide currently shows tapping your head with the palm of your hand can mean gratitude. Making the come here motion in the US or in American culture, typically you would have your palm up, and that can be considered rude in Arabic. So in order for them to show come here, they would do the same motion, but the palm would face down. Not following these can be faced with criticism or a loss of face in Arabic culture, which can mean shame or embarrassment for the family. On our next slide, we're continuing with that communication style and common examples that we might see. Typically, distance is usually an arm's length away, but friends and family can be much closer. Touching is very common during conversations, but not across gender lines. Using your right hand is seen as clean as compared to you using your left hand. So typically you would shake with your right hand as opposed to your left. Using your right hand, touching all four fingers to your thumb. This is a very common gesture. And in Morocco, meaning either a little slowly or how are you doing? Again, this Qatar International poster is showing you two common gestures or nonverbal communication that you might see. So seeing the feet of one's feet or shoes, it's considered rude. So it's important to be mindful of how you sit. And the A-OK symbol, where your two fingers are touching and you're showing the number 3, in the US or American culture, that just means A-OK. But in Arabic culture, that's considered either a threat or an expression of the evil eye. On our next slide, we are continuing that conversation of communication. Some more examples might be a thumb held under your chin can mean that something is full. Pointing your index finger to your temple can mean that you're witty or smart, but pointing it in front of your forehead can mean that someone is crazy or stupid. Two index fingers held next to each other can mean that something is equal or kif-kif. Pulling down your lower eyelid with your index finger can mean shame, and a hand to the heart can mean thank you, nice to meet you, or peace be with you. So these nonverbal communications were introduced as part of Qatar's International Foundation to show tourists or friends coming in the differences in communication and how to not be rude or disrespectful. On our next slide, the following chart is based off Geert Hofstede's work on cultural archetypes. The chart is based off the country of Morocco, which is the Maghrebi Arabic that we focused on. However, most of our research also applies to general Arabic culture for cultural communication. And the following slides will discuss in depth Hofstede's archetypes and how they impact classrooms, as well as what tips teachers can use to have successful years with their Arabic students. On our next slide, Arabic culture is rooted in high context communication and indirect communication. As previously mentioned, body language and nonverbal cues play a large role. Students may rely more on cues than explicit words for communication. They may also hesitate to ask direct questions or disagree aloud with teachers for fear of showing disrespect. Some tips that teachers might do is to watch their own body language and facial expressions, and then watch the body language and facial expressions of their students for discomfort. Create supportive atmospheres for communication and use frequent private check-ins for questions so students feel comfortable questioning what they're supposed to do without having to do it in front of the class. Also, allowing for small group discussions to avoid whole group confrontations is recommended so students don't feel out of place. On our next slide, we discuss nonverbal communication norms. So teachers need to be wary of not only what their students do, but what they do as well. There is usually minimal eye contact with authority. However, there may be large amounts of eye contact with trusted family or friends. So making eye contact with your student, that might not always be a thing. And just because they're not giving you eye contact doesn't mean that they're not listening. Personal space can also play a role, as touching and closeness are common amongst friendly individuals. So don't be surprised if an Arabic family is touching you on the shoulder or trying to touch your hands, because that just means that they're listening and that they want to do whatever you're asking them to do. Some tips for teachers for this might be to understand and actively learn culturally specific norms for your students, like avoiding the left hand for greetings, and using appropriate physical distance. Present classroom expectations clearly and use gestures carefully. As previously stated, there are numerous gestures that are different in American culture compared to Arabic culture. And allow student opportunity to teach teachers and your class students about gestures that may be different. So if we're sitting on the carpet as first grade or second grade students, we may not want to show the soles of our feet because that may be rude to our Arabic students. On our next slide, we're discussing collectivist values and family orientation. Teachers need to be wary of what their students are doing. Arabic culture is collectivist and they value family above all else. Students may seek approval of family or discuss with family members before participating in extracurricular activities or projects. Family expectations and cultural norms may also set a higher priority over personal achievement and can be the driving force within a family. Some tips for teachers may be to use group work to emphasize teamwork and community and make your Arabic students feel more comfortable. Involve families as best you can in class activities and be respectful of communication differences, and work with parents as partners in student education. And make sure you keep that line of communication open because that's really important. On our next slide, we discuss high power distance and our respect for authority. Arabic students have a great respect for authority and a higher power distance. There are clear and established roles within the community that are expected to be followed. Students may be highly respectful towards teachers and hesitant to ask questions in class. They may appear unsure about material due to their quietness and lack of participation, but it does not mean that they're not listening. Additionally, gender roles may play a large part in Arabic culture, so mixed gender classes may see a bigger impact. Students also value organization and rules, so having these clearly in place can help ease anxiety. Some tips for teachers will be to build trust, model dialogue between student and student, and then model dialogue between teacher and student. So there are clear rules, expectations, and respect. Silence is also common and does not always mean disengagement. So understand that this is a common sign of respect for authority, and make sure to continue doing those frequent check-ins. Lastly, we are going over the next slide, which is uncertainty avoidance and preference for structure. Overall, Arabic students may have a high uncertainty avoidance and a preference for structure. So like most young students, clear expectations, ease anxiety, and help build confidence in routines and work productivity. Students may prefer clear directions, routines, and expectations. So unstructured days or ambiguous activities with little to no directions or open-endedness can cause anxiety and reluctance to participate. Some helpful tips for teachers may include providing positive feedback and reassurance on activities, especially when introducing new ones, continuing to provide those clear expectations for assignments, and using models if possible, provide step-by-step directions, either written or oral, establish clear routines, and provide visuals as much as possible, especially in early childhood classrooms. Using models and visuals paired with oral directions will help your students be successful. Overall, when making the comparison between Arabic and English, we use our next two slides to support teachers and students. Our handout that we developed for teachers highlights the main points culturally and linguistically for understanding our Arabic students. This handout also provides examples of common errors in pronunciation and challenges students may face when writing and reading in English. With this, teachers can get a better understanding of how to approach their Arabic students and families with respect and confidence. They should understand mistakes students can make and hopefully educate classrooms and peers on how to interact and teach Arabic students. The next 3 slides provide some interesting facts about Moroccan Arabic and loanwords, so feel free to watch the video at your leisure. On our next slide, we also discuss some fun facts about the general Arabic language that we found, such as it is the official language of 29 countries, and it is one of the 6 official languages of the United Nations. There are over 100 different words just for camel. There are sounds in Arabic that don't exist in other languages that we had mentioned previously. And there are different forms of Arabic depending on media, conversation, or formal settings. Lastly, our last slide provides an interesting graphic about words we have in English and how they were borrowed from Arabic. It's pretty amazing to think that when we use words like coffee or sugar or algebra, we're actually speaking a little bit of Arabic without even realizing it. Thank you for taking the time to listen and watch our presentation. We hope you learned some helpful tips about working with Arabic students and their families.